Think quitting antidepressants is just about feeling a bit sad? Most people imagine that once you stop taking your medication, you might feel a little down, maybe a bit more anxious, and then life just goes on. But the reality is, quitting antidepressants can be a roller coaster ride that no one really prepares you for. It's not just about mood, your entire body and mind can react in ways you never expected. Prepare for some real surprises. When people stop antidepressants, a lot more happens than just a dip in mood. You might find yourself dealing with symptoms that seem to come out of nowhere, things you never even knew were connected to your medication. For some, it's like their brain and body are suddenly speaking a language they don't understand. Sure, you might expect sadness or anxiety to creep back, but did you know some people get brain zaps, weird electric shock sensations in their heads? These zaps can feel like a sudden jolt, almost as if your brain is being briefly electrocuted. They can happen randomly, sometimes when you move your eyes quickly or just as you're falling asleep. For some, it's a mild annoyance, but for others, it can be genuinely scary and disruptive. And it's not just brain zaps. Some people report vivid nightmares, trouble sleeping, or waking up drenched in sweat. Your sleep cycle can get completely thrown off, leaving you exhausted during the day and restless at night, or smell things that aren't even there. Imagine catching a whiff of something burning or a sweet scent when there's nothing around. These phantom smells can be unsettling, making you question your senses. Some people even experience changes in their sense of balance or feel dizzy and lightheaded for days at a time. It's like your body is trying to find its footing all over again. There's even a name for it, SSRI discontinuation syndrome. Sounds fancy, but it basically means your brain's doing somersaults trying to balance itself out. When you take antidepressants, especially SSRIs, your brain gets used to a certain level of serotonin. When you suddenly take that away, your brain has to scramble to adjust, and that's when all these strange symptoms can show up. It's not just serotonin either. Other neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine can be affected, which means your energy, motivation, and even your appetite might change. Some people lose their appetite completely, while others find themselves craving comfort foods. Real stories online talk about insomnia, mood swings, feeling fluish, or just numb. People describe feeling like they have the flu, body aches, chills, headaches, and even nausea. Others say they feel emotionally flat, unable to cry or laugh, just stuck in a kind of emotional limbo. Some people experience stomach problems like nausea, diarrhea, or cramps. Others get headaches that just won't go away, or feel a constant sense of restlessness like they can't sit still. Sometimes these withdrawal symptoms can last weeks or even months. For some, the worst is over in a few days, but for others, it can drag on, making everyday life feel like a struggle. You might find yourself counting down the days, just waiting for things to get back to normal. The uncertainty can be one of the hardest parts. Not knowing when or if the symptoms will end can make you feel isolated and frustrated. And here's the wild part. Studies say over half of people who stop their meds experience something like this. That means if you're going through it, you're definitely not alone. In fact, it's more common than most people realize. Research shows that up to 56% of people who stop antidepressants report at least one withdrawal symptom. That's more than half. Yet, so many people feel blindsided because they weren't warned. So why don't most doctors talk about it up front? Part of the problem is that withdrawal symptoms can look a lot like a relapse of depression or anxiety, so they're often dismissed or misdiagnosed. Some doctors may not have been trained to recognize these symptoms, or they might underestimate how common and intense they can be. Others might worry that talking about withdrawal will scare people away from taking medication in the first place. Experts now say slow, careful tapering is key, sometimes over months or even a year. Instead of stopping cold turkey, reducing your dose gradually gives your brain time to adjust. This can make withdrawal symptoms milder or even prevent them altogether. Some people use pill splitters or liquid forms of medication to make tiny dose reductions. It might feel tedious, but it can make a huge difference in how you feel. If you're thinking about quitting, don't go it alone. Having support, whether it's from friends, family, or a mental health professional, can make the process less overwhelming. Even just talking to someone who's been through it can help you feel less alone and more prepared for what's ahead. Team up with a doctor who gets it, track your symptoms, and don't rush. Keeping a journal of your symptoms can help you and your doctor spot patterns and make adjustments if things get tough. There are even apps that can help you track your mood, sleep, and physical symptoms, making it easier to see how you're really doing over time. Ever had a weird side effect after quitting meds? Maybe you felt dizzy, or your emotions went haywire, or you just didn't feel like yourself. Sharing your story can help others realize they're not alone, and it can also help you process what you're going through. Drop your story in the comments. Your experience could help someone else feel less alone. The more we talk about these side effects, the less power they have to make us feel isolated or ashamed. Remember, you're not weak or broken for having withdrawal symptoms. It's a sign that your brain is adjusting, and it's something many people go through. Like, subscribe, and check out our next video for more mental health truths they don't tell you in school. And remember, you're never alone on this journey. There's a whole community out there ready to support you.